Hey guys, Sean here, and you're about to watch a weekly Q&A call that I do in the free Facebook group. Before you do so, I just wanted to invite you real quick to join the Facebook group so that you can exchange ideas with other publishers, mastermind, connect with them. So far, we have over 4,000 members and it is growing quickly. You will also receive two bonuses by joining. The first one is how to generate lasting income on Amazon KDP case study. This is basically a case study to show you how I went from zero to multiple six figures on Amazon KDP. And the second reason why you want to join is so that you can attend these weekly Q&A call live and ask me questions directly. So I hope to see you inside the group and enjoy the video.
So good morning to those who are tuning in right now. This is a weekly Q&A that we do. So if you guys have any questions, just submit in the chat anytime and I can definitely answer it. It's kind of a open format, so we don't really have a ton of structure to this. Just any questions submitted, I go and answer it for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour if there's a ton of questions. But that's pretty much it. And if there's not a lot of questions, then I typically talk about one topic every single week. The first one was keyword research. The second one was Amazon ads. The last time was I forgot what it was. On email marketing was the last one. So today I'm thinking just talk about marketing in general, like different marketing strategies, because it seems like people want to learn more about marketing and how to sell their books. So I will probably just touch on that in a minute, just to make sure there's other people that want to hop on a call. All right, cool. So let's see. All right. So in terms of marketing here, let's see, where should I begin? In terms of marketing your book, obviously there are many ways to do it. Let's start with, I guess, how important it is. So should you market your book, or should you just rely on Amazon just showing your book to random people, right? Because Amazon does have existing traffic already, so you can upload your book to Amazon and expect to make some sales. This is called SEO. So if you have keywords in your title, subtitle, description, 7 backing keywords, that'll allow Amazon to show your books to more people because it's telling Amazon what the book is about. So, if you have the keyword mindfulness in the title, Amazon will rank your book on mindfulness. You'll get some people searching for mindfulness book, find your book, and purchase. So that's definitely possible, and you will get some sales there. However, the thing is, the way the algorithm works is you do have to show that your book deserves to be on page 1 more than your competition, or Amazon will just slowly drop your book in the ranking, and your competition will be seen more because your competition is sending better signals. So what I mean by better signals is you have to get sales and reviews to tell that your book deserves to be on page 1, because Amazon's never gonna rank a book on page 1, meaning Amazon's not going to show your books to people if they don't know that it's going to sell and it's not going to make Amazon any money, as well as if it's not getting any reviews that's telling Amazon that hey, people may not like this, right? It may not be a good product. Amazon wants a product that is good, as in it sells well, because they make money if your book sells, but at the same time, if it gets reviews, that means that people are enjoying it. So they want both, right? They want a product that people like, the customers like, and then also that makes money too. So that's very, very important. So you have to focus on that, and that's why marketing is super important to do, especially in the beginning, because once your book is published, you do have a 30-day new book release, new book boost. So what this means is every time you publish a book, the first 30 days, it's kind of like a trial period, right? Amazon is seeing, does this book sell? Should we rank this book? Amazon is basically looking at your book thinking, where should we place your book at? So if your book gets a ton of sales and gets a ton of reviews in the first 30 days while Amazon is monitoring your book closely, you have a higher chance of your book ranking on page one, Amazon moving it up on page one. If you don't do any marketing in the first 30 days, what's going to happen is Amazon will just say that, okay, well, this book didn't get any sales, didn't get any reviews, no one wants this book, let's just place it in page 100, right? So nobody can see it. So that's pretty much what's happening. And so that's why it's very, very important in the first 30 days to boost your book as much as possible with sales and reviews. And this is what we call a new release boost. So actually in the first 30 days, you get a new release boost, meaning you have extra visibility. Amazon is literally testing your book with extra visibility to see if it sells and if it converts. So that's why, again, you want to supplement that with getting your own sales and reviews too. So how do you do that? Well, there are essentially three ways to market your book. Three most effective ways. Obviously, there are a ton of other ways to do it, but focusing on the three. One is email marketing, one is social media marketing, and another is running ads. Typically, I like to do two, which is email marketing and running ads. Social media marketing is a little more of a grind, and it's more for people who doesn't have a ton of money, right? So people who don't have a ton of money can do social media marketing, and you can exchange your time, right? Instead of investing your money, they can invest their time grinding it out on social media, trying to get sales from there, and that might work too, right? That's a good strategy. So an example of social media marketing would be like, say if you got a book on mindfulness, then you can go search up Facebook groups for mindfulness related topics, and you can promote your book there. If you know of a Instagram page, like if you have an Instagram page, or if you know other Instagram pages that's related to mindfulness, you can DM them and say, hey, can you give my book a shout out if I pay you a little bit? So you have to negotiate how much the fair price is for a shout out. Some people would do it super cheap because they're not used to giving shout outs. Some people will do it. Some people are used to giving shout outs. They know the business model, so they will try and charge you high, and then you can negotiate down from there. But the point is, if you do a shout out and if you make sure that their content is relevant to your book, in this case mindfulness, and that's simply looking at their post and see if it's covering the same topic, because if it's a different topic, then their audience will not be interested in mindfulness, right? So another thing is the follower count and engagement that they're getting. So how many subscribers or how many followers they have, and then how many likes they're getting from the post. If there's like a huge difference, if they're not getting any engagements, then typically it's fake followers, so getting shout outs from them is kind of useless. But that is how you can get blasted in front of their audience. And with Instagram, they can simply link your book in their bio while they're doing a shout out, so like a 24-hour period. That's typically what they do. But that's one strategy. So Instagram shout outs, Facebook groups, you can do Reddit and Quora forums. So this is more so you engaging in these forums, and then you're linking to your book, and some people will see the forum, the discussion, and some people might be interested in purchasing. So that is something you can do. Again, it's more so a grind. So that's one method of marketing your book. The second method is running ads, right? So when it comes to running ads, there are many different ad platforms out there. There's Google ads, Facebook ads, there's Amazon ads, and there is a Bing ads, Instagram ads, right? There's so many different platforms, but let's just do the big three. So Google ads, Facebook ads, Amazon ads. So starting with Google ads, it's the cost per click is really high. With Google ads, it's more expensive. So it's really more so for people with higher ticket product, because if you're paying $1, $2 per click, and your book makes you $1 or $2 in royalty, you pretty much need 100% conversion rate for every single click. So every single person who clicks on your product needs to buy for you to make your money back from Google ads, and that's impossible, right? So that is why Google ads is not really suitable for publishing. Don't quote me on it because some people might have success, but most cases you don't really hear people doing well with Google ads. The second ad platform is Facebook ads. So with Facebook ads, a lot of fiction people, fiction publishers have success with Facebook ads. With Facebook ads, it's a little cheaper, but it's still, the cost per click is going up. It's getting more and more and more expensive. So with Facebook ads, the way you combat the higher cost per click is you essentially take a loss on book number one. So you know that you're going to lose money from book number one sales, but that's not the point because you're trying to make money from book number two, book number three, book number four, the back end sales. And this works really well with fiction because with fiction, once you get people hooked into the story, they want to finish the story. And that is why you can have a 5-book series, as an example, and you get people hooked on the story on book number one, and they will go and read book number two, book number three, book number four. So essentially, once you get a customer into your ecosystem, they're buying 5 books, right? Or if you have a 10-book series, they're buying 10 books. They want to finish it. It's the same as Harry Potter series or Marvel Avengers series. Like once people watch one Marvel movie, every single one is connected. That's why it does so well, is because once you watch one Marvel movie and then you get hooked in the ecosystem, right? You want to go and watch all of the other movies, right? Same as Harry Potter. Once you get hooked in the story, you want to finish it and you buy all the other Harry Potter series. So that is how fiction works. So once you have a good series built up, you do Facebook ads, get people hooked on book number one, and you're losing money at this point, right, from running ads, but you know that you're going to make it back up because once people buy book number two, book number three, book number four, read through the book, you get some Kemp earnings, then you know that you will be making the money, or making ROI, and being in the profit. So that is how fiction and Facebook ads works. But with nonfiction, it's a little more trickier because we don't have that kind of sell-through potential with nonfiction. You can build it up. It's definitely possible, but it's harder, because nonfiction books are more standalone books, right? People don't really buy one book and then they're like, oh my God, this is great. Let me go and buy every single other books from the author. So Facebook ads, definitely I would experiment with it. Unlike Google ads, I would be like, it's probably not good. But with Facebook ads, you can test it out, but it's more so for fiction. So the last one is Amazon ads, and Amazon ads obviously is the best one because cost per click is cheaper. You can target people directly inside Amazon, as well as every single customer that is targeted already is on Amazon ready to buy. Unlike Google, Facebook ads, you're targeting them and you don't even know if they have an Amazon account, if they even is a potential buyer, right? They might be just browsing. People go on Google to learn something, not really to buy something. People go to Facebook to get entertained. They're not really looking to buy. So you have to disrupt their behavior into getting them to buy. But with Amazon, people are on Amazon because they want to buy something, right? And you're just saying, hey, do you want this too? So it's much easier in terms of selling with Amazon ads. So I would definitely focus on Amazon ads in terms of running ads. So the final, and then if you want to learn how to run Amazon ads and stuff, then I got videos, and the call that we did on week 2 was kind of going into that too. But in this week, we're kind of just talking about overall strategies or overall different methods of marketing and which one is the best. So Amazon ads by far the best one. And then we talked about social media marketing, but also let's talk about email marketing. Email marketing is something you want to set up as soon as possible because the reality is you can get reviews and sales without having an email list and without having an audience, but your life is going to be so hard, and that's not going to change as long as you never build your email list, right? So if you have an audience, let's say you got 1,000 subscribers in your email list. Once you have a new book out, all you do is send an email, and then those people will go and buy your new book because they're already nurtured, they know you already, right? They trust you, they like you. So you can get sales and reviews very easily, but by just writing up an email with a couple minutes. If you don't have an audience, every single book that you published, you have to go and grind out reviews, grind out sales. And how do you do that? Well, you can use these other strategies that I just talked about, but it's going to cost you more money and a lot of time to get those. And do you really want to do that every single time when you publish a book, right? It's much better to build up an asset like an email list, so that every single book that you publish gets easier and easier and easier. Because once you publish one book, you build up this audience, and then you publish the second book, you can pitch that second book into this audience, right? And then you pitch, and then once you have your third book out, you can pitch, the new audience to your third book. And every time you publish a book under the same name, your audience grows, right? Bigger and bigger and bigger, because you're building this email list. So that's something that you want to do as soon as possible. So regardless of whether you have a niche already or you don't have a niche selected, I mean, preferably you pick a niche and just do that one instead of hopping niches, so that you can build an email list quickly. But that is what I recommend. There are other strategies that you can use, such as using other people's email list. So you can use book promo sites to essentially pay other people who has an email list to blast your book to their audience. Yes, it's possible, but you have to pay again, when you could have just built your own book promo site, right, by building your own email list, and it would have been free. So that's something you just have to consider is, how much longer do you want to keep paying other people and keep putting in the time to get sales and reviews? Another thing you can do is cross promotion. So once you have an email list set up, you can take your email list and then you can find another author in the same niche with similar audience and similar books, right? Who also has an email list, and say, hey, let's do a cross promotion. So I'm going to promote your book to my audience. So can you promote my book to your audience? So we're basically, email list swapping is what's it called. So if you do that, then, their audience is going to come to your email list too, right? And they're going to get exposed to your email list or your books. And then you're essentially exposing your audience with, the other author. And so this is a great way because once you have an asset like an email list, you can do this unlimited amounts of time and cross promote each other and grow your list very quickly. So it's something that you can do. With fiction, it's big as well. With nonfiction, you can still do it. And there are different tools and websites that you can go to find newsletter. It's also called newsletter swap. So there's like many different names to it, but cross promotion, newsletter swaps is basically just, promoting each other's books in your own email list. So there are different websites that has newsletter swap, kind of like, I forgot, like a database. So, you can go and find other people that's also trying to do it too. So that's Story Origin. Story Origin is one tool, and then there's also I forgot the other one. Story Origin, and then there's Book Funnel. I think it's called Book Funnel. Yeah, so it's like a tool. It's $10 a month, but there's a database of people doing it. So that's something that you can do. Besides that, I'm trying to think if there's other methods. And I'm just looking at the wall because there's a roach on the wall. Hopefully it doesn't come this way. But anyways, trying to think if there's other methods of promotion. And I'm sure there are. So another example. All right, blogging, right? You can blog and promote your book, but is it really worth it? Most of the time, if you don't have a blog built up already, then it's not really worth the time. If you have an existing blog, then absolutely you can promote your books. You can get emails, right? You can get reviews. Great. You already have an existing traffic coming in, an existing audience. But if you do not have a blog, should you start a blog just so you can collect emails and sales from your books? And from my experience, no, because blogging takes a ton of time to build up. It's going to cost you money as well if you're outsourcing the blog post to a writer. So, and you cannot just write one blog post and expect to get a ton of traffic. You have to consistently pump out blog posts over and over and over. And I mean, how many blog posts do you need? Well, you need like 100 minimum, right, to get traction to your blogs. And obviously this is just a guideline. You can do it with much less, but if you watch any YouTube videos of people teaching blogging, they always say that you got to get at least 100 blog posts up to where your blog finally starts getting traction, to be even seen, right? So 100 blog posts, I mean, if you're trying to write that, that's a lot. And if you're outsourcing it, you know, each blog post got to be 3,000 words, 5,000 words. And if you're paying people $2 per 100 words, I mean, how much is that going to cost, right? Every single blog post is going to be $2 per 100 words. So like $100 if you're doing a 5,000 word blog. I don't know if my calculation is correct, but let's say it's like $50, right? Per blog post times 100, you're spending $5,000 just to get 100 blog posts, just for your blog to get some traffic, so that you can finally start promoting your books. Like, it just doesn't make sense, you know? And people might disagree with this, right? If you have a successful blog, if you know more about blogging than me, because I already know blogging from a beginner level. I've looked into it. I took some courses. I've actually done it myself. I got to 5,000 traffic or 5,000 views per month. So my blog was built up to the point where 5,000 people were coming to my blog, but the conversion of those is very low. Not a lot of people out of those 5,000 is going to buy your books and also, you know, opt into your email list. So it's just, in my opinion, it's not really worth the time that you invest into building a blog. So what is the best marketing method? So just to summarize everything. The best marketing methods is Amazon Ads, email list, so building your email list, email marketing, and then simply making more books. So that is the best, what is that? That is the best use of your time, basically. So if you want to summarize publishing, and the most, like, you know how like there's 80-20, the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your income is made from the 20% of activity that you do, right? So if you make most of your money from the 20% of the activity, then obviously you want to focus on the 20% of the activity and you want to do more of that. So what is this 20% of the activity that brings in 80% of the work in publishing? Well, that is running Amazon ads, building your email list, and publishing more books. That's the three that you want to focus on. So publishing more books is not really marketing. However, that's going to bring in the most money. So instead of spending time and money into blogging or anything else, I would just make more books, spend that money and time into creating more books. And that's where you will see the biggest results. So that's pretty much everything, I think, in terms of marketing. Let me see if I can think of anything else. If you guys have any questions, just let me know in the chat and I can definitely answer it. But let's see, besides that, I don't think there is any other marketing methods. I'm sure there are other marketing methods. It's just that it's not something that people talk about a ton. Word of mouth is another one. So word of mouth, obviously. But, you know, how long do you want to just keep doing word of mouth, right? All right, so we got a question. Kareem, thanks for asking the question. From your experience, is the 80-20 rule apply in books? So 80% of your book income comes from 20% of your books published. Absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% of the case. I mean, even with my old account, right? I had like 200 books. Most of my income was from 10 books. The top 10 books brought in like a solid 60-70% of the income. For the new account that I have, so the new KDP account, I have like 21 books right now, and it brought in 3K last month. But the thing is, and I'm going to do an income report on this very soon, but the thing is, out of the 21 books, only 4 is high content. like the normal high content that I teach. Out of that four, one was brand new. So essentially, only three is like high content that's been on Amazon for a little while. And those books brought in the majority of 3K. The other books are low content books, coloring books, Spanish translations, journals, and then audio specific books. So literally, like, I had 20 books, 21 books, and top two to three are the ones that brought in most of the money. And that's kind of why I'm super biased towards high content, because I just don't understand why you want to spend so much time making low content books that barely makes any money. But that is, yeah, you definitely see the 80/20 happening. And this month, that account is on track to do 4K or a little higher. So it's definitely growing, but it's mostly from the high content books. But yeah, so any other questions, let me know. If not, I will just end this call in 2 minutes, because we've been going for 30 minutes or so, and we'll just do another one next week. But yeah, as I always say this, right? If you guys think these calls are beneficial, please invite people into the Facebook group so that they can hop on to these calls too, and find or get benefit from it. Yeah, so just share the group if anything, if you find it valuable. But all right, so I'm just chilling for 2 more minutes. Just let me know if there's any other questions. All right, so we got another question here. Will you deal with your new publishing as sandbox for testing and growing it to the 40K, or focus on the course? Yeah, that's a good question. So that's another thing. My new account is more so an experimental account. Like, my focus is on the course, right? Because I want to teach you guys the best methods. So I'm intentionally breaking the criterias that I had to test out books. So I'm literally spending thousands of dollars to make my own books in a keyword that has 50,000 search results. Like, I knew it has 50,000 search results. I knew it's like very broad keyword, and I knew that it's competitive as hell, but I wanted to test it and see if search results actually mattered. I'm like, can I rank my books on this topic, even if it's super competitive, as long as I have a higher marketing budget? So that was like a experiment that I did. And the answer is yes, you kind of can, because it's on page one, but it's not really getting a ton of sales, just because my competitors has thousands of reviews and I'm still at like 70 reviews. So I'm making probably $300, $400 a month from that book, but it's not a lot, right? And it's kind of, I'm noticing that it's tough to compete. So, but anyways, I mean, I knew that already. It was just more so just confirming, and just, I had a theory, so I wanted to test it. But the point is, yes, my focus is more so just testing out new strategies and going out and, again, finding out what's best and then teaching it in the course. So that's what I'm doing. So making money from publishing itself is kind of a byproduct with this second account, but it's cool to see that I'm still making money, even with experimental publishing. Again, the whole reason why I have 21 books is mostly because I'm testing out low content. I'm testing out that, high content with super competitive niche. So if I would just focus on what actually makes money, then I would just follow the course, right? Follow what's taught in the course, which is just create high content books in low competition, high demand niche. Like my first book that I published, the very first book that I published in this account was just a normal book that I followed a course, and published, and that's doing like 1,500 a month, right? So I would just do more of that, but because I'm kind of wanted to test it out so that I can make new lessons and stuff in the course. That's what I'm doing. A lot of books with a lot of good reviews, but bad BSR. So hard to forecast a winning book. Yeah. I do think though, if you are in a good niche that that has demand, the more reviews you get, the easier it is. Like the faster you start picking up momentum. As long as you're running ads and as long as you are actively promoting it. Yes, sometimes it's not easy to forecast a winning book, but the thing is, you get better over time, and as you get better, there are more times that you're right than more time. So let me rephrase that. There are more times that you're right than the times that you're wrong, and you're essentially just improving the odds, right, when it comes to business, because there's nothing in life that you can get right 100% of the time. Even in keyword research, even in any other business, even in real estate, if you're spotting deals, you're not going to get anything right 100% of the time. At least with publishing, even if you get something wrong with keyword, you're still going to make money and you're not investing a ton of money into it. Imagine doing this with real estate, right? Imagine having a real estate flipping business and then you're getting it right? You're making money with your flips and that's cool and everything. But then one day you get it wrong. You mess up, the analysis, you buy a bad house, right? And then you put in $40,000 to fix it up and it doesn't sell. I mean, the risk that you have with real estate is insane compared to publishing. But the point is, you're never going to get anything 100% of the time right, but you're just improving your odds, and getting better. So most of the time you're getting it right, and that success from getting it right most of the time outweighs, the loss that you might have from getting it wrong sometimes. And again, even if you make a book that doesn't really sell well, it's still going to sell, and most likely it'll ROI in a couple years. So the risk with this business is very, very, very low. All right. I guess that's a good topic to cover, like how publishing stands compared to other businesses. That's a good one that I can talk about next week. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. If not, I will end the call and go kill that roach on the wall because that's freaking me out right now. But Kareem saying looking for more videos about your lifestyle of digital nomad for inspiration. Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, those videos are hard to make. I would love to make those digital nomad travel videos, Kareem, but I can almost guarantee you no one's gonna watch it except you. Because like whenever I make videos that's non-publishing, no one watches it. Every time I make mindset lessons that I think is super good, or personal finance lessons that's like amazing, nobody watches it because most of my audience is publishing, right? So I kind of gave up on making non-publishing videos, and I'm like, okay, fine. Well, if people want to watch publishing videos, I'm just gonna make really, really good publishing videos. So my channel is just gonna be focused on publishing. And digital nomad, it's kind of related to publishing, but it's like those videos are kind of hard to make because I gotta actually go around and film things and whatnot. So one thing I would say though, to kind of like crush people's dreams about digital nomading, I think it's amazing. But at the same time, it's very, very hard to work. And I think that's why a lot of people who go digital nomad, they come back after a couple months, a year, they come back to their home, wherever that is. And then they stop doing digital nomading eventually, because it's very hard to move around and try and get work done. And that's why even with me, I'm in Bali, but I'm not moving around very often. You know, I'm in one location for months at a time because every time I move around, I'm losing 2 weeks, right? Just to find a place, move, settle down, find where everything is. It's crazy, and I don't like it, you know. So, and then there's also issues with like the environment not matching you, I guess, because I never had issues eating street food in Philippines, China, Vietnam, Thailand. No issues at all. But now that I'm here in Indonesia, I'm literally getting sick every single week from eating the food, and it's to the point where I'm like, I might have to move out because it's too much, you know. So those are the things that they never tell you, and I'm learning myself as well because I was also looking at digital nomad videos, and I'm like, this is crazy, you know, this is amazing. That's the life that I want to live. But I think from what I've seen, people usually give up or just decide that it's not worth it after a year because, you know, again, moving around is a hassle, or there are people who make it work, move around all the time. But I don't really think those people are as successful as the one who just stays at one place and just work. You know, there are sacrifices that are made. Of course, you don't have to be the most successful. I mean, that's not the most important thing, right? So if you rather be a nomad, travel around, make some money, you know, and do that, that's possible. But it just depends on what you're looking for, I guess. Yeah, of course. You have to test it out to see if you like it though. So it's definitely, you know, you gotta try it out. All right, guys, but I will end the call here. And thanks for hopping on. Thanks for asking the questions. And I'll see you guys next week. And hopefully, yeah, hopefully it'll be a good call again. So hope you guys have a nice day and talk to you soon. Bye.